Welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. If you need a roof, make sure you call Ireland Contracting. They are the best in the business. That's why they're #1 in Pittsburgh. 1-800-NEW-ROOF. Give us a call on the Borders and Borders hotline, 412-575-2600. I say you absolutely need a first-round draft pick, at least for Antonio Brown. He's a game changer. He doesn't fit in the Steelers' locker room right now, but I would not trade him unless I'm getting a first-round draft pick. Paul Zeise does not agree with me.
Why would you want him back?
Well, it seems like some of the players do.
Who cares? The players have run this thing for too long. Actually, reading that article today, okay, and the way that Mike Tomlin has enabled all this to happen, and the ship that he runs, and reading about, you know, how he let James Harrison do all that nonsense last year, and some of the other stuff. You know what? I'm starting to wonder, is he going to be able to change his ways enough where he can get this thing under control, or do you need someone else? And I've always said, you know what, Mike Tomlin's a good coach, yada, yada, do this. Here's my thing. If he can't figure this out to the point where he stops enabling these guys and he makes it pretty clear, listen, you know, we're going to do things a little differently around here. We're not putting up with this nonsense, you know. And to me, it wouldn't hurt if, and I know he's a free agent, but if a guy like LJ Fort sticks his head up on social media next year in training camp or something, cut him. That's how you do it. I remember Curvin Richards, Curvin Richards from Pitt. You remember he was at he was with the Cowboys, and Jimmy Johnson came in, and second week or third week of the season, fourth quarter, they're up a bunch of points. They put Richards in, he fumbles twice, they cut him after the game. Jimmy Johnson was like, bye. Yeah. That's how you send a message. To me, find someone that's not really all that important and make an example of them. But to me, when it comes to Antonio Brown, you are better off getting whatever it is that you're going to get for him and just wiping your hands clean of them and saying goodbye. Same thing with Le'Veon Bell. You've got Jalen Samuels, you've got James Conner. You can go get another running back if you want to go get another running back. Look, the game-winning touchdown, okay, in the AFC Championship game was scored by what running back? Rex Burkhead. That's all you need to know, okay? Same thing here. Get rid of the drama. Make it very clear that your locker room is going to be different, that you want to be focused and really worry about winning football games and not all this other silly stuff that the Steelers seem to be worried about. This is a team who has underachieved for 8 years.
What kind of message do you send, though, if you trade him for a third-round draft pick?
You send a message that, you know what, we're done with this guy. That's the message.
But your team's worse. Well, your team on the field, on paper, is worse off.
On paper? How many championships are won on paper?
None. All right, let's go out to the phone lines. We got Wally out in Greensburg. What's up, Wally?
Hi, guys. How are you?
Hey, thanks for calling.
Hey, Paul, I agree with you 100%. The guy is bad news for the whole team. And living off campus, that's, if I were his teammate, you know, that would be a big bone of contention with me. Anyhow, what I want to say is, you know, most people that are watching football games think the last 2 minutes of the half and the last 2 minutes of the game are the most exciting part of the game. Wouldn't you think? No?
Well, if the game, I would think if the game is close, yes. But well, if the game isn't close.
Instead of having 4 15-minute quarters, why don't we have 30 2-minute periods?
Why don't we just give the teams the ball to 25 and just play overtime, college overtime rules?
Play 2 minutes.
Well, Wally, I appreciate the call. They got to do some things to fix the game. I read Ed Bouchette's article today, and I thought it was pretty good about how Dan Rooney wanted to change instant replay, and it makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely. I mean, it does. But here's the thing. When it comes to instant replay, you and I probably agree about this. It was designed to overturn egregious mistakes.
Or make the right calls, period.
Egregious mistakes.
Yes.
If we can get back to that, I don't care how many challenges you have, and I don't care how many times you look at the. If you're going to tell me that we're going to look at a thing 15, 20 seconds, you know, pause, you know, whoever's they're getting ready to snap the ball. Hang on, let me look at this again. But this thing where we've got to go 4 minutes, you know, pixel by pixel, zoom in, zoom out with digital cameras and all these angles and everything, and then we figure out that the ball just barely touched the top of one grass blade, therefore it's out. That's not what it's supposed to be for.
No. What is a catch? What isn't a catch? I mean, the fact that they overturned the Edelman punt to make it a muff punt. That is ridiculous.
Yeah, again.
There was no any obvious, right?
Here's the thing. If you watched it, and I'm sure they do, because, again, I tell people all the time, they've got different angles that nobody else has. They've got
Why can't we see the different angles? I didn't think they had different angles.
They do. They have digital cameras. They have digital editing and all that other stuff or whatever. They can zoom in and see things that, So they've got different technology. But it took them 4 minutes or 3.5 or 4 minutes or whatever it was. Listen, they probably got it right from the standpoint of it probably did not touch him. But it took you that long and that many different angles and zooming in and zooming out and all that other stuff to come up to that conclusion. In 25 seconds, if you couldn't see it, you go with the call on the field because it's obviously not an egregiously bad call.
I agree with you. There should be a time limit. Let's go out to Brad out in Saxonburg. How you doing, Brad?
Good. How are you guys?
Good, thanks for calling.
You're a breath of fresh air. But I got a couple other questions, okay? So Tomlin is a defensive backs coach under Dodgy. Well, the Eagles came within probably one play of making the NFC Championship game with third and fourth stringers in there, and we can't even keep Artie Burns on the field. And also, whenever you have a bad defense, then you think they're running the ball and telling Ben, hey, you know what, maybe we'll let Jalen Samuels run the ball when James is hurt, and let's run the ball 30 or 40, 35 times a game, since, our defense is struggling, instead of kind of letting Ben maybe. I think Ben might be a little bit of a diva, too, and want his 5,000 yards passing stuff.
Brad, I agree with you on the I think Ben wanted the 5,000 yards. He wanted that drove a lot of things.
That's another one of these myths here in town. Like, Ben is like the ultimate winner and wants to win, and that's all he cares about. He cares about his stats. He cares about his legacy. He already has a Super Bowl ring, you know what I'm saying? The fact that,
they're working on a contract, and I imagine it's going to be a big contract.
And that's fine.
And bigger now that he has 5,000 plus yards and won the NFL passing title.
Unlike receiver, at quarterback, you know what? You've got a guy like Ben. You can't just trade him away.
No.
You know what I mean? Because that's a really – but there's a situation, too, where Mike Tomlin and Randy Fichtner in the offseason need to say, Ben, listen, stop changing all the plays and stop it. We're not throwing the ball 1,000 times next year, which is not. There was games when they ran the ball 9, 10, 11 times, and they were like what was the one game where they were down 14 or 21-7 or something early and came back and tied it at halftime? The Chiefs game.
The Chiefs.
Right? They were down 21-0.
I think it was 21-0.
They were down 21-0 and they tied it at halftime. And I still had morons arguing with me that they had to pass the ball that many times because they were trailing. Well, no, they were even at halftime. So my point is, and if they had Le'Veon Bell, I guarantee you they wouldn't have had games where they had 9, 10, 11, 12 carries. They would have had 21, 22 carries, and it would have been different. But guess what? Now you've got two guys that have been through the season, a whole season. Jalen Samuels, James Conner, both have proved they can get it done. You want to tell me Conner has to get better at not fumbling? Fine. But they should run the ball more than they did this year. For a number of reasons, but one of them is, like your guy said, the defense is bad.
You know what? And if they had Bell, you could maybe make the case that they could potentially have gone far in the playoffs. When they played their best, they were running the ball. James Conner he was the top running back in the NFL. If you have Bell back there, I thought it was a very weak AFC this year. The Patriots have proved that they're beatable. And they're in the Super Bowl.
I think the thing that's really kind of disheartening if you're a Steeler fan, there are a number of younger teams in the AFC that this year kind of took a step forward that you got to believe next year.
Indy's going to be good.
Indy's going to be good.
The Chiefs are going to they're both good already.
The Texans Houston's going to be good again. The Ravens, you know what? They've completely redone their roster in a lot of ways. They're a young team. There's a lot of teams out there now that are young and are going to be a problem for the Steelers.
All right, we got to take a break. Back with more of your phone calls, some of your tweets coming up next. Stay right there.